Okay, we might as well just get started. We're a couple minutes in here and we've got a lot of stuff to get through. So you don't have to be camera shy. I actually prefer it if your cameras are on. If you don't want to have your camera on, that's okay too, but it does make it easier. I'll tell you that just about every month now, I'm doing a Zoom with Gary Keller and some other operating partners from around the country. And Gary makes us have our cameras on the entire time. It does make for a little bit better interaction as well. Can see if sometimes somebody raises their hand while they're on camera. It just makes it a little bit easier while trying to navigate a couple of things in the presentation. So if you do have any questions, certainly don't hesitate to ask. I want to make sure that everything makes sense. Welcome, Peter Hiller. All right, so let's get started. When I go to a class down in Austin, and it's being taught by one of the KW university instructors that is a professional trainer, that they've been trained on how to present. They always start out the class with asking the question about what is your big why? And why is that important? If you understand what your big why is, what do you want out of life? What do you want out of your real estate career? What do you want to accomplish? It usually leads to goals. And if you have goals and you have a relationship with your goals, and you're checking in on your goals on a regular basis, the chances of you hitting your goals are much greater. I was on the mastermind session today with MAPS Coaching, and there was a presenter on there, and he said that the people that actually have goals and they write them down, that they are 42% more likely to hit their goals than those that do not. And if you also add in accountability, and that could be an accountability partner, it could be a coach, chances of hitting your goals then jump to 77%. So ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I get up every day and want to go in and sell real estate and not have a boss in many cases? If you're on a team or you're an employee, that's a little different situation. If you're an individual agent or you're running a team and you understand what your big why is, again, chances are you'll set goals and you'll be more likely to hit those goals. And then they always jump into the 6 personal perspectives as well. And the 6 personal perspectives are, as we see them, commit to self-mastery. So commit to self-mastery in whatever you're doing. Real estate sales would be one of those things. How you treat your clients would be another one of those things. One of them that I would advocate for here is that we're going over the 36 touch. So committing to self-mastery in the 36 touch. And then commit to the 80-20 principle. Gary basically wrote a book called The One Thing that really talked about this a lot. That 20% of your activities leads to 80% of your results. And Gary wrote that book because he knew that lead generation was such a big strategy in everybody's business that if they focused on lead generation, that would lead to 80% of their results, right? Well, actually, it could be the 90-10 rule, that 10% of your activities leads to 90% of your results. So stay focused on lead generation. This is what the 36 touch program is all about, is lead generation. It's marketing and prospecting. Moving from E to P. So moving from being entrepreneurial to being very purposeful. And that's exactly what the 36 touch program is all about, is that you're going to get really purposeful about your marketing. You're not going to wing it anymore. And when you are purposeful, that's when you break through the ceiling of achievement, that you actually start to get the results that you want to get, and you create that life by design. Become learning based. I heard on a Dave Jenks was a co-author of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book with Gary Keller and several other books as well, Shift and The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. He said that high achievers are high learners. So get out there and just learn everything that you can. Continue to ask questions all the time. And then remove your limiting beliefs. Well, we're going to talk about a marketing program and a prospecting program, and that might work for somebody else, and that all sounds good, but it's not going to work for me. There's a reason why Gary and his writing team wrote about the 33 touch at the time in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. It's because that was what has been working for many of the top teams around the country. They brought in 100 top producing teams when they wrote the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and uh, they, uh, they found out what the best practices were. So, um, just believe that it will work on it, perfect it over a period of time, and it will pay off for you because it's a system. All right, and then be accountable. Again, I just stated earlier that those people that have goals and they have an accountability partner, that they are 77% more likely to hit their goals than those that do not have goals and do not have them written down and don't have an accountability partner. So that is the 6 personal perspectives in a nutshell. I could probably teach a 3-hour class on the personal perspectives. Again, how do they relate to your real estate career, your life, and then here, the 36 touch. All right, I'm going to continue to move on here. So my goal is to teach you how you can earn $250,000 a year with the 36 touch program. And I would think that everybody that takes the class would want to learn how to do that. What are the secrets? What have you learned? I started working on this back in 2006 when I came over from Remax. I'd never heard of the 36 touch or the 33 touch at the time, 33 touch program. Needed to understand how to do that because I had primarily been selling new construction. I was moving back into selling just existing homes. I knew that I needed to do better with my database so that I could get referrals from my database and work with people from my database. And so I started working on it back then. And what I want to teach you is all of those things that I learned. What should I do? When should I do it? How much should it cost? So by the end, hopefully you will all see that as to how that all lays out and how it all works. So why the 36 touch program? So it's a system. You can build a predictable business that produces consistent results through staying in touch with people that you have met. Purposeful marketing eliminates the peaks and valleys of your business, that you will constantly get business coming in. So if you talk to an insurance agent, the one thing that they like about that business is the consistency of those annual renewals, that they've got business that's constantly coming in and it renews. Well, we can have business that renews as well. We don't have to look at every year and say, hey, I'm starting from square one. I'm starting all over again. I don't have anything for next year, which should never be true. We should always be starting out the year with something that's in a pending status or something that's close to getting into a pending status as well. So Gary Keller's research indicates that this works on a 12-2 or 6-1 ratio. So for every 12 people that you have in your have met a database, right? This is important. And a database is people that know you, like you, trust you. When you look at the name, you know who that is. So 12-2. Why is it 12-2? Because it's one person from your database and then one that's referred to you from your database. So for every 12 people, you should do 2 transactions per year if you're doing a 36 touch program to a have met database, people that you know. We're going to kind of look to do some simple math though, and just make it 6-1 when we start to look a little closer at the math. So 70% of an agent's business comes from their sphere or a referral from their sphere. And this is why this is so important, is that every other lead generation strategy that there is a single digit lead generation strategy. Internet leads, single digit lead generation strategy, right? Open houses, single digit lead generation strategy. All of the other lead generation strategies, and there are many of them, there is single digit lead generation strategy. However, 70% is the number that you want to go after, and you should get really purposeful about it. Every top producing agent that I've ever had a conversation with, or that I've seen present on a panel, or that came and spoke, always talks about that a majority of their business is coming from their database or their sphere. Same thing. So we want to get that database built up to a certain level where it would start paying off. And by the way, you're not going to do the best on this. You're not going to see your best results on this in your first year, because your second year is going to be better than your first year. Your third year is going to be better than your second year. Your fourth year is going to be better than your third year, and so on. As you move forward, the more and more consistent that you are with doing a 36 touch, the better results you will see from that program. If you don't start talking to your database, somebody else will. Somebody else is going to get in your database. I've got people that are in my database that I've done transactions with, multiple transactions. I do the 36 touch program with them, and I still lose them. Now, I want to say that I'm not out producing every day like most agents are. My main function is the operating principal role with Keller Williams. I put an extraordinary amount of time in that, but I still run my team. And basically, I'm coaching my assistant and then the agents that are on my team to go out and do transactions. And we work off of my database and we work off of their database. So everything that I'm talking about, we're practicing and we're doing on my team. And this helps me stay in touch with this. Here's the other thing that the 36 touch program does. It helps you build a business that has value. And that's one of the things that we've got in this business, is that if you go work a job somewhere, you get paid, and when you leave that job, your income stops. And with a business, you can sell a business. So you're really building two values. One is that income stream, and then also that equitable value of the business. Why not really get this dialed in so that when it comes time to go do something else, whether that might be, retirement, it might be moving to another industry, it might be, doing something else entirely, right? Going back and focusing on family, something like that. Now you've got a business that's built up. And if we wanted to look at the most successful business on the planet, that would be Amazon. And what does Amazon have? They have got the world's best database, and they know how to mine that database to keep business coming in over and over again. So hopefully that makes sense, and you stay on top of it and continue to build the database. So when we make a sale, we're up here at the top of this peak, right? The day after the sale, we're down here. And the average time is anywhere between 3 and 7 years between sales right now. So if we don't stay in touch with our database, it's going to become disingenuous when all of a sudden we want to communicate with them because they're up here somewhere. They're about ready to do something. They're about ready to make that sale happen. They've reached out to us and just said, hey, what's going on in the market, right? We haven't been staying in touch with them, and all of a sudden they reach out and they say, hey, what's going on in the marketplace? And we determine that, they're thinking about doing something. Well, we've been talking, we really need more space, and we need to, possibly upgrade our home. So we're going to sell our current home and we're going to purchase a new one. Now, all of a sudden we become interested in speaking with them. That's disingenuous. So that's the reason why we want to stay in touch with them. And the things that I'm going to talk about in the marketing program will allow you to look like a true real estate professional, continue to educate your people about real estate along the way, and then just continually stay in touch with them. So how does the math look? We talked about the 12 to 2 or the 6 to 1. And if we have an average price point of 250,000, which, by the way, for the Roseville Market Center right now, the average price point is over 300,000. So we'll just call it 300,000. So I'm not using a pie in the sky number. I'm actually using a number that's below what our average is for the market center. Average commission of 3% or $7,500 on that 250,000. And I know what you might be thinking is that, well, a lot of these buyer co-ops are only 2.7%. I get that. If your business is balanced though, and you're running your business right, and it's balanced 50% seller sides, 50% buyer sides, your average commission should work out to be 3%. So we'll just run with that. If we have a database of 200 people, we average 33 transactions per year. By dividing the 6 into the 200, we're going to have 33 transactions. Or the same thing, the 12 to 1 is going to work out to 33 transactions. So if we look at the math, 33 total transactions times the 250,000, that gives us $8,250,000 in gross dollar volume. That 8,250,000 times 3% is 247,500. So I know I said 250,000. What is your average sales price that you would earn 250,000 in GCI? And we're only showing 247,500. Well, I'm also working off an average sales price of 250, and it is actually higher than that now. So what is your average sales price? Take this information, go and work out what your numbers are. I know agents that have an average sales price north of 500,000. Doing 33 transactions at 250,000, you're having a really good life. If you're doing 500,000, now you're talking about 500,000, nearly 500,000 in GCI. I'm sure it would be more, again, because of that average sales price. So through different teachings, Ignite, Bold, other classes that we have at Keller Williams, we always talk about building your database. And again, this is your A database. It's the people, again, that when you look at their name, you know who they are. It's not just somebody that you heard lives down the street. It's actually somebody that you know. Every person that you put into your A database and you market to them with that 36 touch program annually, for every person you put in the database, it should be $1,237 in GCI every year. So if you put in 10 people in the next week and you're on a true 36 touch program, there's $12,370 in GCI that you would earn in the next year. And I only bring that up because it's breaking it down and showing you how activity matters, and the right activity really matters. And this is why we build a database, we stay in touch with the database, we market to that database, because it will consistently pay off for us. So how do I build a have met database? I build it to 100, and then you build it to 200 and beyond. I sat in a class with Jay Papazan. He's also the co-author of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, Shift, also the One Thing with Gary Keller as well. So what Jay said was that everybody on average knows 150 people. So 150 people times 150 is 22,500. So we're talking about a database. Again, let's just say there was somewhere in between. It was 150 people. That doesn't seem like much. Like, really, how can that pay off at the level that you're talking about? Well, if done right, and you're really doing a good, consistent, 36 touch program, it's not the 150 people. It's the other 150 people that those 150 people know that equals that 22,500. So that's the power of it. So how do we build this? People that you've worked with in the past, people that you've been introduced to recently, prospects from your farm area that you've met face to face. So if you've been working a farm area, you've been marketing to a farm area, doing a once a month touch, and you've met them, maybe you've been out door knocking in that area, then they would be okay to put into your have met database, because they know who you are and you know who they are, and you've got their name, you've got their phone number, you've got their address, and hopefully you have their email as well. Obviously, family. Don't worry about bugging people. I've talked to so many people who say, well, I don't want to bother my family. I don't want to bother my friends, which is the next one. Go ahead and bother them. It's very rare over the years that I've had anybody ask me to remove them from my mailing lists or my touch campaigns in general, emails. It just doesn't happen. Old classmates from high school or college, great way to go, especially now with Facebook. We can constantly find people. We're being put in touch with people and connected with people through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and other forms of social media. So networking events, clubs, BNI, Chamber of Commerce, social media, big ones, right? If you do this and you have a networking club that you're part of, I guarantee you're going to do 33 transactions in a year, especially with things that we've got to offer from Keller Williams. So we've got Keller Mortgage. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to use Keller Mortgage. I don't like using that online thing. And well, every start to a mortgage application process is usually done online. Well, I'm really good friends with my lender, and my lender takes me out to lunch and breakfast, and they send me referrals. That's okay. That's okay, because we're acting as a fiduciary. And we want to let everybody know about the best mortgage deal out there. No lender fees, $1,000 cash back at closing, low interest rate. There is not a better deal out there. We want to make sure that our people know about that. So couldn't we contact everybody in our database and let them know about Keller Mortgage? Absolutely. By the way, could we call up business owners and look to get in front of business owners? And everybody should have 35 business owners that they're staying in touch with regularly. Just think of it as your own yellow pages. And it doesn't have to be businesses that are related to real estate. It can be, and you can probably send more referrals their way if you've got a carpet cleaner, if you've got somebody that does installation of blinds, if you've got a plumber, an electrician, any of those carpet installers, those would be great people. Why not call them up and constantly stay in touch with them and let them know that you're out of an office that has nearly 200 agents in it over in Roseville. And oh, by the way, we've got a closed Facebook group, and I could certainly promote your business in that Facebook group, but I'd like to get together with you and I'd like to hear more about your business. Obviously we're hopefully getting to the backside of COVID, so getting together with people becomes less risky, and more people are certainly open to that. Why not get together with business owners and just say, hey, could I stop by your shop and just meet you? Love to send you the referrals. So stay in touch with businesses, or just become part of a networking event. Implement a 12 by 12 farm area. We talked a little bit about that before. So if you meet somebody from your farm area, they could go into your HaveMet database as well, as long as you've met them and you've got all of the right information: name, phone number, address, and email, right? If you're going to do a farm area, you'd want to have at least 1,000 homes in that farm area to make that effective. So you're marketing to them once a month, and that's the 12 by 12, 12 times over 12 months, okay? All right, and then database. I don't see a real need to talk about anything other than Command. Command's super easy to use. It's no different than putting a contact into your phone. So phone number, email address, home address, and then tag them, networking group, sphere of influence, friend, former classmate, but tag all of them if they're HaveMets as SOI, sphere of influence tag. And the tags are really easy. And why Command? Because it's going to allow you the ability to educate them on the value of homes in their neighborhood, not their city, right? If somebody lives in Woodbury, they don't want to know what's going on in all of Woodbury. It's too vast. There's too many homes. They just don't care. But do they care about what's going on around them? Some people will care, and we can include more neighborhoods. But we can set up our contacts on a smart plan that is basically a neighborhood update. So twice a month, once a quarter, whatever we decide to do, we can set them up and educate them. So we're now educating them about what's happening in their neighborhood, not their entire community, which they may or may not care about, but the neighborhoods that are around theirs. And again, we can expand that. We can make it bigger. We can add several neighborhoods to make that a big area, to make sure that they're continually getting information. So I talked about before that, what are we supposed to do with the 36 touch program? When are we supposed to do it? What are we supposed to do? And how much is it supposed to cost? So let's cover that, okay? And I'm just going to start with the first touch, which is postcards. I use a company called Sensations. Sensations is a great company to work with. I have my database, my HaveMet database, in the Sensations system. And every year they call me up and they say, do you want to renew? And I say, yes, we want to renew. And it's Dave Nelson, this handsome guy on the card right here. He calls me from Sensations and says, do you want to renew? And I said, sure. And let's just say that I had 200 people in my HaveMet database. I actually have more than that, but I like easy math, and we're running with a 200-person HAVMet database here. That's what this spreadsheet is all about, and that's what these costs are associated with. So let's just say that I've got 200 people in my HAVMet A database, right? And Dave wants to renew. I want to renew. That's $432 for the printing for the year. That's 2,400 postcards are printed all at one time, and they're ready to go. And then I pay for the postage monthly. So if I have somebody that I decide I want to take out of my HAVMet database, 3 months into the year, I can do that. I can just pull that person out. Maybe they've moved, maybe they passed, maybe there's a lot of different things that can happen as to why. Maybe I don't like them anymore and I just want them out of my database. I can pull them out of my database, and I only pay for the postage for that particular month. Now, what Sensations has is they've got different home improvement tips and whatnot. So if you look at this here, this is a home improvement tip postcard. They've got these where it runs for years. So I believe that they're up to 7 years on this now, but Dave's the expert at Sensations on that, and he would be able to tell you. So sensations.com, you can look at the different programs that they've got. On average, we're going to spend $110 per month getting those out. And this is a set it and forget it program. So we've got one postcard going out every month throughout the year. If it was left up to us to get those things sent out, it wouldn't happen. And we don't want to spend our time doing it. Now, if you've got an assistant or you've got cheap labor, maybe you've got a college kid or a high school kid, maybe you've got a parent that is retired and likes to do things just to stay active. There you go. Have the postcard shipped to you. You can stamp them and you can send them out yourself. I would avoid doing that, but you can do that. $110 for a month. All right, emails. So we talked about the smart plans, and this is why you want to get your database into command and then set everybody up on a smart plan. By the way, this also allows you the ability to go out and talk to somebody, call them up, go meet with them and tell them, hey, as soon as that conversation turns toward how is real estate? Hey, great. By the way, I'd love to get you set up and keep you educated about real estate in your neighborhood and the neighborhood surrounding your home. I can set you up on an email that will come out that'll let you know about homes that have been listed in your area and homes that have been sold in your area. Would you like me to do that? Sure. Does that give you a chance also to talk about Keller Mortgage? Absolutely it does. So if you can, meet with people as often as you can and talk about that. But going back to the emails, let's say that we get them set up on a twice a month smart plan that will educate them, again, about home values in their neighborhood. I'm only going to count that as one touch because an email is not a high touch. It's just not. And by the way, you could do some other emails during that month that are more personalized as well. And you could take this from 36 touches to, 48 touches. You could take it out to 60 touches if you want, because you're doing some sort of other type of email campaign. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just not count emails any more than one in a month. And so with Command, we've already got that because we're already with KW. It's already part of our tech package. So I'm just going to put a zero cost on that per month. Okay. Handwritten notes. If you receive an envelope in the mail that's got a handwritten address on it, you're probably likely to open that. If you open that and it is a handwritten message, you're more than likely going to read that as well. So could we slip our business card inside of that with our handwritten note card? Hey, just checking in with you. Hope things are going well. Hope to see you soon. Saw on Facebook that you guys had a great trip to the Bahamas. Well, whatever it is, just something very quick. And we send that out in January because we want that out in January. That's a high touch. And we're sending out our business card. And inside that, we're also letting them know that if you know of anybody with any real estate needs, please send them my way. Maybe we're going to let them know about what's going on in the market. Hey, we're really low on inventory right now. If you hear of anybody that's looking to list their home, please think of me. Please get in touch with me. I would greatly appreciate that. So we're getting that out in January. And at Keller Williams, we talk about protecting our lead gen time, right? It's in the morning, 3 hours in the morning. Now, it's not always 3 hours of hitting the phones or, door knocking or other things like that. It could be that, and by the way, the 3 hours is 1 hour of prep, 1 hour of lead gen, which again could be phone calling, and then 1 hour of documentation after that. So why couldn't we include our handwritten note cards? Because we've time blocked in our schedule already those 3 hours, and we're going to do handwritten note cards in January, and we're going to do 10 a day. That means we're going to do 50 a week. That means we're going to kick out our 200 handwritten note cards all in January. Now, could we go to 20 a day? We could, but doing 10 a day kind of breaks it up, and 10 a day is not, so tiring that somebody's not going to do it. It's not that difficult. So 10, let's do 10 a day. We're going to knock that out in January. Now, would we want to do another handwritten note card in February? Probably not. So why don't we do another one in July? We're kind of breaking that up. And oh, by the way, now we have 3 touches lined up in January, and we've got 3 touches lined up in July. By the way, I'm going to come back to the handwritten note card idea in just a minute as well. So let's move down to holiday cards. So Sensations can make this really easy for you because they've already got your database, and they would have all of your addresses in your database, everything. They do a postcard for the 4th of July. There it is. And we send out that 4th of July postcard right at the end of June, okay? So we're going to do that one holiday postcard right at the end of June, and then we're going to do another holiday card right at the end of November. And that holiday card is for, the upcoming holiday season. What we've been doing typically is sending those cards out right after the Thanksgiving weekend. So that Monday after the Thanksgiving weekend, our holiday cards go out, very generic, happy holidays. And hopefully we're going to get some shelf life with that they're the type of family that likes to display all of the holiday cards that they receive, right? And they're going to think of us every time they see that card. By the way, that works every December for as long as I've been doing this, and I didn't catch on that I was supposed to stay in touch with my database till I was well into my career. So I'm 27 years in, and it probably took me 6-7 years before I figured out that maybe that would be a good idea that I do that. So don't be me if you're in the business for less than 7 years. Get on it right away. Magnets, another great idea. You cannot do anything that has to do with Wisconsin related teams. So you can't do the Badgers, you can't do the Brewers, and you can't do the Green Bay Packers, right? That's not allowed. Only Minnesota teams. You're with a Minnesota-based office, only Minnesota teams. I'm just kidding. So that's my dry sense of humor. So here is a Twins magnet right here. And we send those out typically in April for the Twins, right? And what we hope is that magnet hits somebody's refrigerator door, or just they put it on display on a tack board in their office, whatever it is. And every time they look at it, they see our business card that's on it. So when we get these things, we attach the business card to the magnet, and we hand address each one of the envelopes. And that idea of utilizing somebody that's retired. So my assistant, Michelle, she employs her mom. We employ her mom to write out all of those envelopes. She loves it. She loves to do it. And it saves us a ton of time. So we get those things all kicked out and we get them sent out in April. People love them. And then we do, there's one where you can combine the Gophers and the Vikings for the football season and send those out in August. And notice here too, that we're doing various things. We're sending out postcards that have maintenance tips. So that makes us look like a professional. We're sending out an email, which is different than a postcard, right? The postcard might stand out because it's one of the very few things that somebody gets in the mail anymore. The email may stand out because they're really enjoying getting that information about the values in their neighborhood. The handwritten note, hopefully that stands out. The holiday cards, hopefully they stand out. And then the magnets, again, hopefully they stand out. And we're doing a variety of things that we're staying in touch with our database, right? And we're not seeing a lot of cost to that. So $110 for the postcard, $0 for the emails, $33 a month for the handwritten note cards, $66 on average per month. We kind of do a nice postcard for the holiday postcard or holiday card. That's why we're getting up to $66 here. Magnets, they're not very expensive either, $38. And then we get down here to calls, $0. So I know a lot of people don't like to make phone calls, if that's a hard thing to do. Decide what you want to do. I'll bet that if you've got a database of 200 people, making calls to 50 people and having conversations with them is not difficult. This is all marketing up here, okay? Down here, these calls, this is prospecting. Marketing, prospecting. Marketing-based, prospecting enhanced. If you enhance this program with those calls, you are going to have far better results. And oh, by the way, if you have more time than money, then do more calls, do more emails, do whatever you need to do to keep your costs down. If you want to do 4 calls a year, there's nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to give you a break here. What if you were to tie your calls in with a party, okay? And let's just say that your party is the Santa event that we do at the Market Center every year. And let's just say that you do your handwritten note card, not in July, but you do it in September, and you put an invite inside that handwritten note card in September for the upcoming December visit with Santa, right? And not everybody wants to visit with Santa. I get that. They don't have kids or they don't have a pet that they want to get a photo with. That's okay. But you're making that phone call then ahead of time, and you're saying, hey, just wanted to remind you that we've got the Santa event coming up. And maybe you don't hear back from them. And maybe they don't show up at the Santa event. And by the way, the Santa event is not expensive at all. It's very inexpensive, actually. So I would take a look at doing that, because you should be able to do that for less than $2,000 per year. And if you're piggybacking on what the Market Center is already doing, you can maybe spend more money back here on this one in May where you're taking people to a Twins game or a Saints game or something like that. And then again, you're combining these touches, where you're doing an invite in the handwritten note card along with, a little ticket that says, hey, you're included, just RSVP to my Eventbrite site. And then you're making that phone call and you're staying in touch with everybody, right? And then you're throwing a party and you're having fun. The one thing that I did not talk about is the home maintenance tips. And the home maintenance tips are something that we put together. So we have a fall, winter checklist, and we have a spring, summer checklist. And again, this is about making everyone look like a real professional. So we're sending out checklists on things that they should be doing in the spring and summer and the fall and winter. Can just print those off ourselves, put those into an envelope ourselves and get those out. $22, very low cost to doing that. So with our parties, we've got a combined monthly of about $269 a month on average to do our 36 touch program, and an annual expense of $5,228. So we are, for $5,228, creating, again, almost $250,000 in income. Now remember, again, are we going to have our best year in the first year? No, we're not. Are we going to have our best year in the second year? No. Third? No. Fourth? No. As time goes along, it will just become more and more and more effective. Will you hit a 12-to-2 ratio? Maybe. Maybe at the end of the day, it won't be 12 to 2. Maybe it will be 20 to 2. You know, for every 20 people that you have in your database, you're only getting 2. However, if we're spending $5,228 per year, that is a very low cost, to generate $250,000 in income. That is a very high rate of return. Matter of fact, it's so high that if anybody knows of one that's better, please let me know, because I would probably be interested in investing in whatever that might be. So I can't tell you, or I can't stress enough how important it is to do this. And if, again, we go back to that analogy of you have more time than money, let's focus on the things that are low cost. Email, low cost, right? Handwritten note cards and the magnets and the calls are very low cost as well. No cost to the calls, so no cost to the emails. Focus in on that, and then start to layer things in, doing the handwritten note cards, the holiday cards, whatever they might be. So hopefully everybody will take the time to do this. I've got this handout here, and I'm going to email it to Jordan. And sorry, Jordan, but I'm going to put a little bit of work on you. So if you could email Jordan at the front desk and ask her for a copy of this, you can get a copy of this entire PowerPoint. It's got the suggested vendors on here and their information as well. So Sensations is listed, all that information I went over, some door hanger information, and then where to get the cards at and where to get the magnets at as well. All right, so I am going to stop the screen share and ask if there are any questions. Come on, somebody's got to have a question. There isn't a dumb question either. No questions? So Nick said 36 touch is awesome. I started learning, leaning into my database last year after about 3 years in mostly outbound prospecting, and the results have been phenomenal. There's a couple agents that I've talked to over the years that have had just absolutely extraordinary results from this, and love to hear that when somebody lets us know about how they're doing with this. So I'm going to leave you with one thought before we jump off the Zoom. I want more than anything for everybody to succeed, and we have so many things that we can be doing out there. But one of the most important, again, build your database, market to your database. You're going to build value in your business. So not only are you capitalizing on the income that you're earning while you're working in the business, but you're creating a business that also has value because it's producing consistent results, right? And let's just say that every year you decided to get purposeful about getting in front of people. And I remember in 2006, the first time that I saw Gary Keller speak, it was at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas at Family Reunion. And I'd never heard this before. And I was like, okay, I get that real estate is a toe-to-toe, belly-to-belly sport. You need to get in front of people. You need to think about it like running for office, mayor, Congress, Senate, whatever it is that you're running for. You're not going to be a secret. You want to make sure that you're in front of as many people as possible and telling them about why you're the best candidate. Why are you the best realtor? You are the best realtor. And if you're not, please let somebody know where you need to sharpen your skills so that we can make you the best realtor. That's where it goes back to those 6 personal perspectives. That's where it goes back to self-mastery. We want you to be the absolute best. So let's just say that you wanted to do the toe-to-toe, belly-to-belly thing. And that's a figure of speech, right? But you're going to reach out to X number of people every year with the hopes of getting in front of 40 people a year. Coffee, lunch, breakfast, Twins game, Saints game, Lynx game, soccer game, a beautiful new soccer stadium. I want to get in there someday. It's right down the street from the market center. Why not go there, right? So you're going to get super purposeful about contacting somebody from your database. And you're going to get together with somebody 40 times per year. And you're not going there, you're going there just so you could stay in front of somebody, but they're going to take that conversation to real estate at some point, right? At some point, they're going to ask you, how is the market? So you need to be prepared for that. And right now, a really good answer would be, it is fantastic. Sellers are getting everything that they want and more out of selling their homes. And buyers, they're doing really well too. Now they're paying in some cases more than what the asking price is, but they're getting the best interest rates that we've ever had, and they're happy as well. So the market's fantastic. Why? Do you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? If you don't, could you please keep me in mind? And oh, by the way, I wanted to let you know that we have this program at KW. We're the only company that offers this program. No lender fees. You get $1,000 cash back at closing and a low interest rate. On average, we save people $5,000 when they're financing. Please don't let anybody buy a home unless they talk to me first. Now, again, that's a script. How you want to deliver that script, you decide. I want you to get excited about that we've got a competitive advantage. And oh, by the way, when we're with these people, we had talked about getting them set up on a smart plan, right? Because we want to stay in touch with them. We don't want to be disingenuous and only talk to them when they have a real estate need. So we're going to, I'd love to set you up. And let's just say that I'm meeting with Andy. Andy, I would love to get you set up and keep you updated on what's going on in your market. Everybody seems to be interested in real estate. I know you are. We've got this great system where I can send you just information on the homes that are in the neighborhoods that are in your neighborhood and the neighborhoods that surround your neighborhood. Would you be open to me doing that? Who's going to say no to that? Most people are going to be very open to that. So I would do that as well. What could be the results of just doing that alone, right? And there shouldn't be any reason why people can't do that. And by the way, is that fun? And would a politician do that? Yeah, but they do it more than 40 times in a year. I don't think it would be too much work to do it 80 times in a year. And what would the results be? Let's go back to the 40. Could we get 10 leads just from that activity? And by the way, it may be 40 times with somebody you know and 40 times with somebody you don't know. And those 40 that you don't know, I would make those business owners, right? Because a business owner is going to know more than 150 people. And that's what this is all about. What type of connections can we make out there? So 40 times in a year, though, because we're just going to do it 40, maybe we're going to do it 80. It would be great if you did. Could we get 10 leads? And if we got 10 leads and we sold 10 homes from this activity, that's $75,000. And then we layer this with the 36 touch. And we layer that by doing other things as well. We layer that by doing open houses. We layer that by doing door knocking. And you notice how I didn't say buying leads from Zillow? We're going to stay away from buying those very expensive leads from Zillow because we don't need to do that. I was just in the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook group the other day, and the question was asked, is anybody doing more than 50 transactions per year without buying leads from a source? And there was a bunch of people that chimed in, and a bunch of those people that chimed in said that they were doing a 36 touch program. A lot of them were saying, I'm staying in touch with my database, which again, they should be doing a 36 touch program and being very purposeful about that with their database. So hopefully I've inspired you to take action. I think that this is something that everybody can do. And again, as you're building your 36 touch program, just go get together with people and talk to them. So there's a couple of questions here. One of them, how many new database ads should I have every year? When do you have too many? Okay, great question. So I think you have too many when you start going through your database, which, by the way, here's my sensations database right here. It's printed out. It's right behind me all the time because I'm adding to it and I'm subtracting from it all the time, right? And if I look down, I actually had this happen today. I was talking to my assistant and I said, who is John so-and-so? I don't remember him. And I don't know why this never stood out to me before, but it just kind of jumped out at me today. And And then I had to go back and look at the house. And I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that, right? But if you're looking at your database and you don't know who somebody is, then that person probably shouldn't be in there. You know, it's just that's where you know that you have too many. Two, do we want to have 1,000 in our HaveMet database? Again, as long as you know who they are, and as long as you're building up to that level, and you can handle that business, that you've built the infrastructure, and you've got the ability to handle the expenses that come with that sort of database. Otherwise, 100 to 200 people, and that 200 is just a nice number. From what I just showed you, $5,228 is, all you really need to spend. Now, could you spend more on magnets? Yes. Could you spend more on your holiday cards than what I listed? Yes. Could you spend more on your handwritten note cards? Absolutely. It may not be 5228, but you also could spend less than what I put down there too, and just get creative with various things. Come up with your own ideas, and I hope that spreadsheet gives you a great idea how to lay them out. So Gabriella asked a question, what is the best and recommended for auto email, and what do you like about them? So, Gabriella, I would just go to the smart plans that we have. There's a ton of smart plans. I don't even know what the number is that have already been built out, and find out what works for you. I'm telling you though, that the smart plan that gives them neighborhood updates and makes clients smarter about real estate in their neighborhood is the way to go. And of course, we'll have their name, but do we have their address? Do we have their phone number? And do we have their email? And if we don't have their phone number, you can still work with that, right? But then work to get their phone number as well, because those phone calls do help. So check out the smart plans that we've got inside of Command. I think you're going to find something there that would work out. And again, we don't want them going out on the same days. We want to make sure that we're staggering them throughout the month, once a week, once every other week, whatever that might look like. All right, any other questions at all? I'll have to say that teaching by Zoom is challenging. It's far different than being in the classroom. I can hardly wait for the day that we're back in the training room and I get to see everybody's face. So some of you at least have your photos up versus having your cameras on, so I get to see you that way. But looking forward to seeing you all again. Thank you for being on, and just send Jordan a message if you want to receive a copy of the PowerPoint. Have a good day.